Welcome to Eastern Film Fans, another one in our series of Rising Stars, and we have one right here with us, Nathan Geering. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us today. Introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on this podcast with you. So my name is Nathan Geering. I am a director, a fight choreographer, and an action actor.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Multi-winning, I think. I've seen the plaudits. Come on, Nathan, you need to take it. It's been a massive year for you, I have to say, of all things. We're going to touch some of that, but I want to go back first before we get to that. And you do, and sometimes it's good to have self-reflection. It has been a great year for you. But let's start a little bit from the beginning. I like to do this with all my guests at the first time they've come on and understand what inspired you, how you became a martial artist, what you got into, where was the trigger for that, whatever it might be. Just interesting to tell, the fans out there and how you got into, martial arts and obviously where you come from. But, obviously something must have triggered that journey, I guess, for you. It'd be good to
Yeah,
understand.
sure, 100%. I used to live with my grandmother in Ipswich in Suffolk. And we used to watch old school kung fu movies. The whole family used to literally watch old school kung fu films. And kind of like, as soon as I'd see them come on the TV, I'd be jumping up in the living room going, "You killed my teacher," all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone was like, "Nathan, move, sit down, sit down." And my grandma was like, "No, make him stay there. It's carry on, do your thing." So he was kind of like the one that actually, I guess, inspired me just to keep going.
Yeah,
But I mean, the first kung fu film I remember watching was Drunken Master,
nice.
and we're going back into the 80s, so it was with the original rank English dub and things
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, so the proper stuff with that one. I just knew it was just something that was just always in me. I just wanted to do, but there wasn't anywhere around that taught like kung fu. So
Mm.
it was just mainly like karate classes and stuff. So I did a bit of Shotokan karate for a little while, and
Yeah.
then I moved up to Chesterfield when I was 8 with my mother, and then from there I did some Tang Sudo for about a year or so, but I was always still just looking for kung fu.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing a bit of Shaolin Long Fist, and then I stuck on Wing Chun from about the age of like 17, 18 years old, and I
Nice.
just really just went deep into that really.
You're early. You're not supposed to be here for another half an hour. It's time for you to leave.
We do this now.
Same kind of journey. I did obviously karate because it was, like 80s. It was like Karate Kid was out. There's a lot of karate schools, but not a lot of kung fu schools around and stuff. It was only later I did like the Wing Chun as well for a period of time, which was really interesting, especially for me because I'm tall, gangly as people used to say. But it was interesting because Wing Chun's very close and stuff, and whereas before I was karate and his legs, I could keep people away. But whereas when they got inside, I was in trouble. So Wing Chun complemented that. I always said I wish that there was like a JKD around and stuff that you can do just to combine everything would have been fantastic. But there wasn't. I think coming back to your point, 80s it was like karate and that's what you kind of brought up with. But that's kind of took you on that journey, and that journey has evolved for you. Well, just like fantastic what you've done and stuff. Let's some highlights that we've got, but I want to come back to. So we've got Flaming Assassin because that was in the Fighting Spirit Film Festival in London as well. So recognised from that point of view. I know you've got plaudits and awards for it and stuff. How did that come about? How did you get involved in that? What was the thoughts around it, etc.?
So with Flaming Assassin, so that was never meant to be a short film. That was only ever supposed to be a proof of concept
Yeah,
because along with doing kung fu over the years, I was a professional dancer. I was a b-boy.
yeah,
So I still am a b-boy. I still do breaking.
yeah.
But I was a professional breaker, and my partner, she also taught me fire eating and fire skills.
So that.
So and then so I had all these skills, and then I always wanted to combine them. Like as soon as I learned a bit of fire, I was upside down straight away, figuring out how to put it on my head. And obviously, with the, I guess, the meditative and philosophical side of things, that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I was able to like temper the fire with what I was doing.
That's just a myth.
A myth? You not heard what happened to them thing, brother?
They're just scary stories.
Tommy, I got this from a reliable source.
Who's your sauce?
Pulls out his sword, and it's on fire. Our Mr. Mansfield running around town chopping up everyone.
I heard it's slightly different.
And then when I started getting into filmmaking, so I only got into filmmaking like properly like a year and a half ago. I'd made a couple of short films before that, but I was just focused on, just doing my theatre work and things. But it was like about a year and a half ago, I said, right, I want to be Jackie Chan. And then next thing you know, a year and a half later, well, not even a year and a half later, a year later, I'm training at his home and things.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, that was going to be my next one, and you've launched into it. I mean, man, look, I've had the privilege of meeting Jackie Chan. It was an absolute honor and stuff. In some ways, I'm more jealous of you because you got to train with the JC Stunt Team. Again, how did that come about? I mean, that's just like phenomenal. Like you say, you were watching Drunken Master as a kid, that got you there, and then all of a sudden you're training with his stunt team. I mean, wow, and then secondly, how? I mean, come on, let's tell us a story. Tell us a story. Tell us a story.
Yeah, there's lots. Okay, well, we'll come back to the Flavoured Assassin thing.
Yeah, come back. Yeah, sorry, you segued in. I had to get in. So
I'll come back to that in a minute. So basically, what happened with me getting the opportunity to train at JC Stunt Camp. So my first ever fight choreography class was with Cynthia Rothrock, and basically what ended up happening was, she said, "Oh, you're good. If you ever get over to the States, I'll put you in a film." So I was like, "Cool, all right." So I went over to the States and I was part of Black Creek, but just as like a featured extra really on that one. I was there more to shadow like Mike Moller, who was like the fight choreographer.
Yeah, cool, Mike.
Yeah, Mike is wicked. And then, but while I was in the States, I was like, I want to make the most of my my journey there. So I didn't literally just go and only do Black Creek. I kind of like extended my stay before and after. And so the first place I went to was Vegas, and I got a chance to kind of like connect with Eric Jacobus while I was out there. And he suggested that I reach out to Philip Sagan. And he runs the JC Stunt Camp. So I didn't even know there was a JC Stunt Camp at that time. So what I'd done was, and this kind of like ties into Flaming Assassin, because what I did was I'd actually just done a proof of concept with, can I combine fire, breaking, and martial arts all together? There's been, films where you've had martial arts and fire. There's films where you had martial arts and breaking, but there's never been one where they've been all together really. Yeah. So I wanted to see if I could really, fully combine everything and create something a little bit different in terms of aesthetics. And so I edited these fight scenes. So basically we just tried 3 different fight scenes with the same people, but with different weapons. Yeah. And the edits turned out so good. I was like, wow, I've got to make this into a short film. So that's kind of like how that came about. But at this point, when I'd gone to the States, all I had was the edits of the fight scenes. The film aspect hadn't been made yet. So I showed Eric and I showed Philip the stuff, but I also the fight scenes. And I also showed him my father and daughter kung fu fight comedy stuff that we do, because we have like a little kind of like kung fu skits that we do. Nice. And because basically when I was first learning fight choreography, I had nobody else to train with, so I just like, come on Layla, right, we're doing some stuff, and like the whole family got involved. But she was actually helping with distance and the timing and stuff. That's cool. So he was like, oh yeah, you do lean into the Jackie Chan style stuff a bit with that. I was like, yeah, like he was my idol growing up and things. And he was like, well, I was actually just having dinner at his house every day for the whole summer. I was like, wow, really? And then he just mentioned the training camp, and he was just like, yeah, you should apply. So I was like, oh wow. Okay. So yeah, so basically I applied for that. Obviously went through a whole bunch of rigorous testing because there was, I can't remember, I think there was 30 people from 19 countries that were selected, but there was loads of applicants from all over the world. So we were considered like the top 30 applicants from all over the
Wow.
world.
Yeah.
And so from there I went to LA and I met Andy Cheng, who's obviously
Nice.
one of the JC stunt members and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Awesome.
he's done Black Hour 2 and all that kind of thing. And so Andy was wicked. Like he was like, started like mentoring me. He gave me feedback on my fight choreography as well and things, which I was eternally grateful for. So there seemed to be a bit of a JC connection going on there. And then I got selected. And then that was it. And then I just trained my backside off for like the next, I think, like 6 months once I found out. Trying to pinch myself because it's quite surreal.
Yeah.
There was
For
me
sure.
as a little kid watching his movies, and then all of a sudden, training with his stunt team in his home, and I'm just like, I never thought I would end up being there.
No.
So yeah, so it was quite. So my journey, I guess, the learning curve has been quite like this, but I'm grateful every day for it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, hard work and dedication gets you there and stuff. Or everything that you sowed the seed on to get to that point to go when the opportunity came. You were ready. Yeah, like you said, you did 6 months because you needed, but you were ready because you built all like your whole life towards that moment where like I'm ready to do this. I'm gonna, you give it the extra mile, but like I say, you don't. It's not something overnight, and this is what I say in martial artists and stuff, and understanding that. And there's a different aspect as well because fighting on screen is different to doing martial arts. Yeah, you can incorporate, but all of a sudden, like your martial art in the on screen doesn't make you a good martial artist on screen or look good on screen, but you've transitioned that well as well. So Flaming Assassin then come back to, how did you transition your very much your roots in martial arts to then learn and understand about fighting on screen fighting because it's different?
Yeah, 100%. So I think, to be honest, my training was watching kung fu movies for like all my life.
Yeah,
I think that was it. That was the aesthetic, because I'd go back and I'd watch myself. I just every single day. As soon as I decided that was it, I want to do films. Every single day, just training, just figuring stuff out. Going like training my daughter, saying, "Oh, is that hit stacking properly? Oh no, I need to turn my body a bit more, fully extend more, and things like that. I need to make stuff more dramatic." And it was a case of, obviously, all the techniques that Cynthia gave me as well really helped, as well as another actor called Kevin Lee, who was like, he was in Wu Jing's Wolf Warrior.
Okay,
when that
cool.
came. And
Cool.
he's been in quite a few like big like Chinese mainland Chinese movies, and
Yeah.
so when he came over last year, he gave me some tips on screen fighting. So I always kind of like took the knowledge they gave me, but I also developed my own technique rather than becoming carbon copies of them two.
Yeah.
It was really about, okay, how can I really take that to, one, give a tip of the hat to to everybody that knows about Hong Kong cinema and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Thanks.
you know what I mean, right? But two, to bring something a little bit different as well to the table, really.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So yeah, so that was kind of like my my journey into really understanding screen fighting, because I was like I say, a breaker. The two go hand in hand, really. From the power moves you get from the swinging of the kicks and things like that, and a lot of breaking moves came from kung fu. So
Nice.
yeah, it all kind of like merged into one, really.
I suppose we should mention before I get to your latest ventures. You initiated into the Black Barrel Hall of Fame. I saw that come up as well. I mean, that's like, again, I mean, you're knocking it out of the park at the moment, but I mean, that must be nice recognition for what you're doing, etc. And seeing all the people that have been, and then all of a sudden that you get nominated, and you're doing that as well, must be fantastic for yourself.
Yeah, like that's probably been like I guess the biggest surprise of the
Yeah.
year, to be honest, because I've been doing martial arts all my life, and obviously I've always seen people in the martial arts Hall of Fame, Black Belt Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. Yeah.
But you think, oh, that's never me. That's never going to be me, kind of thing. I just train at home and do my own thing, and that's it. But like, yeah, I think what kind of happened was like not last year, the year before, the UK martial arts show.
Yeah.
There was a point where they had the stage was just empty towards the end of the day, and I was like, "Oh, can I just go on and do some stuff?" They were like, "Do you have any music with you?" Because yeah, I've got my own music, so I guess always be ready again, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
I had my rope dart with me, so I just went and I did my style of breakthrough, which is
Nice.
a mix of breaking and kung fu. And so I did that, and they're like, "Wow, that's brilliant. Do you want to come back and do it again next year?" So I was like, "Okay." So I came back this year, and my daughter, she was on stage with me, which was again
Nice.
really proud moment. And my stunt team, 'cause I have my own stunt team as well that I train up.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, a lot of those members were with me and performing, and then they asked us to stay behind and perform for the award ceremony that night as well, because
Wow.
apparently we were like the show stopping group, and like really like brought the house down. So yeah, I guess I kind of got on their radar from that, and I guess they've been watching me like quite closely ever since, really.
Again, I think to your point, you're ready, and if there's an opportunity, you got to grab it with both hands. There's an opportunity there, and you're ready to do it. Like I say, they don't come around very often, and sometimes you have to go and literally grab the opportunities, and you didn't. Like, it's fantastic. Look, I want to get to. There's so much more we probably could talk about, and we will do at some point. But the lock-in. So I'm going to put the link down in the comments as well. So it'll be in everything else, the campaign and stuff. But walk me through where the idea came from, the journey you're on, and how we can help as fans as well, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, sure. So with the lock-in, the idea came about because I really, really and truly, obviously, I want to make feature films. I've been making short films for about a year or so now, and they've all done really well. So I'm like, okay, I want to make feature films, but I've been learning the business of filmmaking is very different from filmmaking.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so in terms of getting investment and stuff, that's very tricky, especially if you haven't had a track record with feature films and things. So I was like, okay, right, let me see how I can level up. And I already wanted to do Flaming Assassin and turn that into a feature film, because that film by itself had won over like 30 odd awards internationally and things.
Yeah.
So I knew there was a appetite for that, but I was like, I don't want to make that my first feature film. I want to do another feature film. One, so I could just get a good handle on making features, but two, just to work with, the resources of what I've got. And obviously with training with the JC Stunt Team, they gave me so much knowledge and information about how they would just make stuff work, back in the day, how they would, find a way, whatever means they had, they'd make it work. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do with the means that I have? So I was like, okay, let me come up with a story that's quite contained in terms of the locations and things like that. And I kind of like a lot of like, I guess, Guy Ritchie type films and things. And but I wanted to make a film that has old school kung fu shapes in. So I wanted to really blend like old school kung fu shapes with modern day action. That's something I really wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we had a conversation. So obviously we met at the Ballistic premiere in Birmingham, the Mockingbird and stuff, and we were talking about it, and you said, "Oh, I've got this exciting thing and stuff. We're gonna throw some shapes at it and stuff." I was like, "Oh, hold on a second. That sounds really interesting." I was like, what are you doing there? What's all that? Hence why we're having this conversation now to a certain extent. So yeah, you wanted to incorporate the old school shapes in, which I thought was a really fantastic idea and stuff, because all of a sudden that's a different spin on, and you don't see it that often, certainly in modern action films, and all of a sudden you're going to put the two together. So obviously you've got this idea and you want to try and do that. So conceptually, how do you put the two together, I guess, and how does that journey form? It becomes a lock-in, but how did you think about obviously coming up with that?
So I was like, okay, well, in order for kind of like audiences to kind of like accept that way of fighting and things, the old school audience would probably be fine with it, but like new school and younger audiences, I was like, okay, let me put it in a realm of kind of like Kingsman or Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but just set in an old English pub. So that's kind of like the context of it. So a lot of the characters in the film are like larger than life, and so within that they can have larger than life fighting styles.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of like how how I went about it. But the film is actually it's actually underpinned by a character that can't fight. So basically, the story is there's this geeky guy, and he walks into this English pub, and he gets caught up in the crossfire between like a mysterious bartender who he ends up witnessing killing one of the assassins that walks in. And so all of a sudden he's like, I need to get out of here. And the character is like, the bartender's like, you can't leave. You've seen too much kind of thing. And then so he's like, what? But the problem is he's arranged for a date to meet him.
Ah, okay, yeah. Cool.
The date comes in and then everything just goes out the window, really.
So you got the comedic element already involved anyway. So yeah, you're transcending that between like different genres and mashing, which I love anyway and stuff when you do. And then obviously we're going to get some modern and old school action thrown in as well, which is fantastic. What else can people look forward to when seeing the film? I know you kind of give the plot away and stuff, but what else is going to be in it that is going to draw people in?
Oh, wicked! So we've got legends. So we had just finished doing the Atlanta shoot with Keith Vitale.
Nice.
So that was
legend.
That was in that what I mean. That was a real blessing.
Bless. Nice one.
And I've actually got him on footage saying that he's worked with some of the greats, Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, and now Nathan Geering. So now he's acting.
Oh well, that's got it. Yeah, I mean he's a legend. He's supposed to be really nice, but I haven't had the privilege yet. But I've heard only good things about him, so he sounds fantastic. And you know what he can do on screen anyway, and he's got that charisma. I mean, but yeah, fantastic. What a coup that is. Cool.
Yeah, so he's probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met, to be honest.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
I also met Jeff Pruitt, who was the stunt coordinator for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and for Power Rangers. And so, he helped us out with all the stunts that's going to be in this film and things. Wow. So, we've got some really cool stunts. And I do all my own stunts in the film as well.
Oh.
So,
they get the outtakes at the end, you get them bashed off. Oh. Did that one.
Yeah, believe me, I took some knocks in this one for sure.
I bet you did, mate.
But it's all
heart, soul, and body into it. Yeah, literally. Yeah. I bet.
I mean, like, I'm actually working with a broken finger off of the thing. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But you find ways around it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like the film, it's got like so much going for it in terms of, like I say, we've got the modern day fight action. We've got like old school kung fu shapes. We even got some breakthrough in there. So there's some parts where I'm spinning on my head with some kind of blades in my hand and stuff. Nice. We've got innovative weapons. So for example, there's the rope dart, the Chinese weapon, the rope dart. Well, there's a character in it that has a long Rapunzel braid, and she uses that like a rope dart.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So there's so much that's going on in the film. We've got one of the stunts I'll do, like on the teaser, I'll send you some reels. So I've actually done a kung fu edit as well, where it's got old school kung fu sound effects in it. So I'll share that with you.
You'll have to. Yeah, nice.
So just to hit people with the nostalgia. But we've got like in one of the scenes in the film, it's in a car scrapyard, and so there's big car grabbers and things that pick up and put them into car crushes. So I'm like swinging on that bad boy and things like that, and then they have to fight in the car crusher. So proper like Superman 3 kind of style. There's so much great things going on in this film. We even got helicopter that's going to be in it and things. So there's going to be some wild stuff with helicopter too.
Wow, look, I mean, that's just like tremendous. Where is it? There's a campaign going on at the moment and stuff that people can grab some goodies. I think there's some Blu-rays, there's some opportunities for people. Where are you asking people to go for that? It'll be in the comments anyway, but shout out to.
Yeah, man, it's the Indiegogo campaign, which is the lock-in feature film. And we've got tons of perks for people that want to contribute, and things from Blu-rays to posters screen fighting workshops and masterclasses. So I give private lessons on that. That can be done online or in person. Same with like dance sessions. If people want to do anything from, hip hop, breaking, right through to salsa dancing. I'm even going to be putting on a new perk soon where I'm going to be offering a free fire performance. So, for example, if they pay X amount, then if they got someone's birthday party that's coming up and they want a fire performer there, then boom, you got that as well.
There you go. See, man of many talents, dancing, fire eating, martial artist, award-winning director. It just look, the list goes on. I'm running out of good things to say about it. It's all good. It's certainly been your year, and I'm happy for that to continue into the decades that come next and stuff. We need British martial artists up on the screen doing their stuff and throwing some old school kung fu shows. There's plenty of people that want to see that. Do you know what I mean? It's like fantastic and stuff. I love all that. I mean, we do. That's what we're here for. To a certain extent, from an action movie buff thing, that's my jam. Look, we could chat a lot longer, and I'm sure we will do, because there'll be plenty of other things that we'll need to do. But I've got one final and important question that I ask all my guests on the show. So drum roll, maestro, please. If you're stuck on a desert island and you can take 3 films with you, it can be any genre you want. What 3 films do you take?
Oh, mate, how are you going to put me on the spot like this?
I'm a guess on the spot. Don't fight if you don't watch the interviews. They should know this is coming. I'm sorry. But look, as I say to everybody, and it just gives you a chance to think while I talk, is the fact that if you come back on, you can pick a different 3 films. So it never, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you can pick 3 others. So it's just 3 films of stuff that you just think of at the top of your head. But like I say, it can be any genre. I've had different ones from different people that you never expect, just because you expect, it needs to be, but it doesn't. It can be anything, because that's what, you think.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll go for kung fu movies this time, and then next time I'll go for a different genre.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I would definitely say Drunken Master.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh god, well, it's got to be in it. We started at the top. We started at the beginning. If you don't do it at the end and stuff, we're gonna go Drunken Master. Yeah, go on.
Exactly right. Yeah. It's got to be Drunken Master and Young Master. And the reason for Young Master me is actually got the greatest final fight scene in cinema history, and I can do a full-on analysis and breakdown as to why of that. It's absolutely incredible. So I'd say Drunken Master, Young Master, and Pedicab Driver.
Oh, yeah. God, I love that film. God, now don't tell the wife, because I'm a manly man and never cry anything. But I had a little tear in my eye for Pedicab Driver, because that's the way it is. That was one of the I was touting before. They were difficult to get hold of Hong Kong films and stuff, and that was the one I saw back in Scala days, and it was just like, wow, on the big screen and stuff, was just like blew me away. Sammo Hung, like Cao Leong, just like it was just like unbelievable. Good choice, dude. Thank you, Pedicab Driver. Shout out. Tremendous selection of look. I wish you every success. The lock-in sounds phenomenal. Like I said, the link will be down low. Please, people, go and just put something towards it and help and get this made, because we need to see it. That's what we need to see. Nathan, it's been an absolute privilege. Thank you very much for taking time out to speak to us. Hopefully we'll speak soon. I wish you all the success that's due to you, and I can't wait to see the lock-in and whatever's next around the corner for you. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Nathan. Take care.